Ladies and gentlemen, we still have one final speaker to come up on stage. We just quickly mic him up. Check, check.
Ladies and gentlemen, Fodos, thank you. That was fantastic. The fantastic Fodos. Be yourself, everyone else is already taken. Oscar Wilde. Ladies and gentlemen, I met Matheo Galatis at Limassol Toastmasters early this year, and we had so much to talk about. If I'm to describe Matheo with one word, that word would be truth. And I recently told him this. I told him, man, every time we meet up, it's like you just get me to say something that's coming out, it's true, and it's in me, and I didn't even realize it was there. This is his core competency. Matheo is a professional coach and trainer and the founder of the Fresh Perspective Leadership Academy. He quickly gets to the heart of the matter and catalyzes transformation. He's accumulated powerful approaches to human development. He doesn't talk about them much, but he has. And those are family constellation therapy, emotional freedom technique, shadow work, trauma release, and amongst many more, the DeMartini method. Supporting people to gain clarity in life and business, his vision is to create a personal development culture here in Cyprus so that people can be more empowered. The title of his speech tonight is From Reaction to Creation. Please welcome Matheo Galatis.
Do we have a clicker?
Yes, it's here. Do you need this? Do you need this?
Thank you. Good evening, everybody. Who here has washed their body in the last 24 hours? How about the last 48 hours? Anybody? The last week? Okay, so we have developed a habit and a culture of cleansing our physical body. But have you considered the importance of cleansing your emotional and mental bodies? There was a book that I came across. It's called Tears and Tantrums. It was written by a lady that realized that children need to decompress their emotions. Babies. I refer this book to every woman that I meet that has a child. Because what we do as children, we work so hard connecting with others, working on growing up, building our muscles. And the result is that the baby, just like a pressure cooker, builds up so much pressure, so much tension, so much energy that it needs to be decompressed. And one of the ways that we decompress is through tears, is through crying. Now, we shed tears for a number of reasons. We shed tears of joy, tears of inspiration, tears of sadness. And they're all biologically different in composition. You can differentiate each of those tears and what they are. And what they've discovered is that just as a pressure cooker builds up pressure, so too do we in our emotional bodies. And we have the necessity to decompress our emotional bodies. But do we? No, we don't. The same with our mental bodies. As a result of our interaction with other people, as a result of the interaction with the world, we develop fragmented thoughts. our thoughts become scattered. We're not focused. We're not attentive. And we need to take some time and bring our thoughts together. Our culture, unfortunately, has not developed any form of psychological cleansing. So what do? From a small age of around, from the time we were born, we start to accumulate stresses in our body, in our physical, in our emotional, and our mental body. We develop physical, emotional, and mental stresses. Now, these stresses don't just disappear. If we don't know how to release them, they remain. And we build stress upon stress upon stress. And what happens? You're 2 years old. And you have a beautiful voice and you start singing. And you're enjoying your voice. And some people around you are doing the same. But what happens is your dad's sitting on the side, he's busy focused doing something, and he's getting upset because you're distracting him. And what happens is he says, "Keep quiet. You're disturbing me." And you make a decision at that moment to stop singing. You shut down your voice. And we shut down many things in our life. We shut down our power to speak up, to say what we mean, to speak the truth, to speak our own truth. We shut down our creativity. We shut down parts of ourselves that we admire and we love, but because of the feedback that we get from the environment out of one situation, we shut ourselves down from that and say, "I'll never do that again." And every one of us is sitting with a deep sorrow and a sadness of why we don't allow ourselves to connect to that distant part that we've let go in the past. I had a client that I worked with. We were doing a training in a large international organization on the senior management level. And I developed an exercise to support people to improve the level of impact that they have in their communication. And this lady goes up, she was one of the seniors then, she goes up and she did a presentation, and the room gave her feedback, and they said, "You need to be more assertive, you need to be stronger, you need to be more powerful, be tougher." And my trainer, my co-trainer said, "Yeah, be more assertive, bring more assertiveness into it." I looked at her and I said, "No. That's not where your power lies. Your power lies in your sensitivity, in your softness, in your femininity, in your vulnerability." And she began to cry. She looked at me and she said, "You're right. Because of this corporation, me needing to adapt in such an organization, I've needed to become hard. I've needed to become strong. I became different to who I really am. I'm actually soft inside, and I don't show that to people." 2 days ago, I worked with another lady that's, her family is very involved in running a country. And she was experiencing a lot of challenges, a lot of attack. And we went in to identify what is actually going on, because I know that what happens on the outside in our lives is actually a reflection, a mirror of what's going on inside of us. And if we're able to find what's the cause, you're able to release it and free yourself from that mirror, and you don't attract those same problems anymore. We went back to the age when she was around 5 or 6, and she had her parents arguing and fighting with each other. And she made a decision back then to create a strong, masculine defense mechanism for herself. She had to work hard. She was constantly trying to prove herself, constantly being more masculine than feminine. She let go of her feminine. The consequence was she wasn't able to relax. She wasn't able to take time out. She had dreams of taking 2 years to go and sit on a mountain and do nothing. And I always see that as an escape a lot of the times. So I got the clue and I went back and we corrected it for her. And we connected it to her femininity. We connected it to that part that naturally relaxes. And when you connect it with that deep part of yourself, that essence, that's true, you feel at home. You don't need to go on holiday. You don't need to fly away into any form of escape. You're home over here. And that's one thing that we're all missing. We're looking at the outside. And we're trying to be like how other people tell us we should be. We try to behave in ways that other people say we need to behave because from a very young age, we started conforming according to other people, according to what other people said. And we lost ourselves. We lost the connection with ourselves. Carl Jung said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it'll direct your life and you will call it fate. A lot of the things that are happening in your life right now, you might believe, well, that's it. It's meant to happen. It's meant to be this way. I disagree. You can go in there and you can make an internal change and the external world will respond. You're having relationship challenges? Change inside. The outside will change. You'll attract the right partner. You're having financial challenges? Change inside. The outside will change. You'll attract a different financial situation. You're having business challenges? Change inside. The outside will change. It works over and over and over again. It's much better than working hard and pushing and pushing and pushing within your own resistance and trying and not having results. Not that that's not required sometimes, many times. But a lot of times we push against our own self because we're not being true to ourselves. We're not being true to who we really are. We create, as a result of the way that we've grown up, we've created protection mechanisms, just like these two ladies that I shared. We've created masks. We've created a facade. Why? We've used that in order to survive and gain attention when we were younger, but we don't need it anymore. And we still carry them, and we're unaware that we're actually carrying this stuff. We're putting on personas and personalities that aren't real. It's not you. You are much more than the act that you put on most of the time to appear happy, to appear like you're okay, to appear like everything's going fine. You're much more than that. And there's a big consequence. There's a big cost of putting on those masks and putting on that happy face when you're not really happy. That consequence is disconnection. You lose connection with yourself. You lose connection with who you truly are. And the other consequence is we lose connection with each other. And that's one of the biggest prices we pay as a humanity in the society that we've developed today. In what we've created, we've made the outside more important instead of looking the inside and finding the star, the light inside of each one of us. One day, we're all going to die. We're all going to reach the end of our lives. And many people are afraid to die. But there's a much bigger fear. You're not afraid to die. You're afraid to die before the world sees who you truly are. And the biggest cost is not being who we are. And that's the biggest fear we live with. People reach the end of their lives and they look back and they say, what happened? Who was I? And if you just make the choice, the decision today to be true to yourself in every way. I was talking about emotional and mental detoxification. one of the methods you can use to allow yourself to begin to connect with the truth of who you are is to acknowledge what is. Whatever's showing up in the moment, whatever you're feeling, anger, you're feeling anger, feel angry. You're feeling sad, feel sad, be sad. You're feeling upset, be upset. That's okay. Those are normal human conditions, and we've made them wrong. We're living in a one-sided world, one-sided society. We put on our Instagram and Facebook accounts that we need to be this instead of that. Well, this is costing our truth. There's two parts of the brain that I want to share with you. We have the higher centers, the prefrontal cortex, the neocortex, the more evolved part of the brain. It's 200,000 years old. 200,000 years old meaning that it evolved 200,000 years ago. It began evolving. We have another part of the brain. The oldest part of the brain is the reptilian brain. Every animal on the planet has this part of the brain. It's responsible for our survival and our security. It's there to help you survive. If you don't have this part of the brain, you're not going to have an instinct to survive. There's a tiny little piece called the reptilian complex. And that reacts every time there's a stimulus that threatens your survival. Every time you have psychological threat, biological threat, this part of the brain activates. Now the problem is, at 2 years old, something happened that caused you, it was a stressor, an emotional, mental stressor. 3 years old, something else happened. 4 years old, something else happened. 5, 7, 9, 20 years old. It continues. Actually, we have a number of stresses every year. We haven't learned to decompress. We haven't learned to let them go. And they stack up. And that causes us to age. That causes us to carry a weight around us that we don't need to be carrying. You feel heavy, you feel tired, you feel like the whole world is on your shoulders. It's because you're carrying a compound effect of emotional, mental stresses. Unless we learn to let that go, what happens is the reptilian part of the brain is always alert for that stuff because it holds it in its memory. You hold it in your cellular memory. And every time that same trigger arises, you react. And the effect is we're living our life in reaction. What happens when we go into reaction? The higher centers of the brain shut down. You lose access to creativity. You lose access to meaning. You lose access to reason. You lose access to the ability to find meaning and inspiration in your life. You wonder why people walk around and they're not inspired. You look into their eyes and they're dead. I'm not here to be nice. I'm here to speak the truth. And the truth shall set you free. Because that's what happens when you're in that moment and you acknowledge the truth of what's going on. You're feeling sad when you're sad. You're feeling angry when you're angry. Whatever it is. That's the first level of transformation. Things begin to change in your life. And you start connecting with the real you. You start to acknowledge the realness of what's going on. When you can acknowledge the truth and speak the truth, a whole new world opens up. Authenticity opens up. You begin to emerge. The real you. "14 years ago, I heard this quote, and it stuck with me. The deepest secret is that life is not a process of discovery, but a process of creation. You are not discovering yourself, but creating yourself anew. Seek, therefore, not to find out who you are, but seek to determine who you want to be. We all have the power to create our lives. We all have the ability to step into the higher centers of the brain and begin to create the life that we long for, the life that we wish we had. Whatever that may be. For some people, it's a simple life. For other people, it's a grand life. It's the life that's right for you. It's not what's outside on someone's Instagram account or someone's Facebook page. You're not going to find the answers there. You can find the answers here. So my invitation to you tonight is begin the journey of being true to yourself, of being authentic. Open up and connect. The lower centers of the brain begin to shut down, and you begin to access the higher centers of the brain. More meaning into your life, more creativity, more reason, better ability to plan and organize, and a whole lot more fulfillment. Thank you very much for being there.
Ladies and gentlemen, Matheo Galatis. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes our speakers for tonight. We just want to thank everyone that took place tonight on the stage. Let's give a round of applause to all the speakers for today. Lambros, Savas Trijas. Where are you, Savas? Savas Trijas. Stand up and be recognized, of course. Artemis Evangelidi. Talis Panagidis. Over here. And his wonderful dad. Farah Shamas. Photos Lordos. And finally, Matheo Galatis. Thank you so much for all the speakers. All right, we're going to leave you with a few things just before we start the party. I also want to give a big shout out to my man, my brother, my gumbaros, my best friend from childhood. A guy who's crazy enough to turn his birthday into a speech ceremony. A guy who's crazy enough to turn his 40th birthday into a speech ceremony. And on top of all that, give all the money to charity. Only he would do that. Ladies and gentlemen, Walid Kabazi!
Thank you, Eddie. Thank you. Thank you, Eddie. Guys, this is going to be a quick one. I know everybody's dying to have their drinks. First and foremost, I want to thank my wife and holistic enabler, Diana. Thank you for your unwavering love and support over the last 2 decades. 2 decades. Yes. Woo! I love you. My family, thank you for your continuous understanding, love, and support. I love you too. My friends, those who know me and still want to speak to me, I love you guys. Yeah. And you guys, our guests, who are no longer our guests, but our friends now. I love you guys too. To the speakers, from the bottom of my heart, from my heart to yours, I'm ever so grateful for making this happen and for accepting my invitation and for being the innovators, the 2.5% who accepted to do this. Yes. And to the venue, to the Seven Seas venue, a big round of applause to Eddie, one of my best friends, Eddie, and Kat, Panayodi, DJ Gatto, and the whole Seven Seas team. Thanks for putting up with us. You got a lot of Excel spreadsheets, and thanks for reading. And our sponsors. We have here, first of all, I'd like to thank Kareem personally. We have Crawley Warren International and the Noodle House from Kareem. Thank you very much. And Claudine and Michelle, Sensi Food. Thank you so much, guys. Guys, we have a big list here, but I'll just go really quickly. 120 Advertising helped us with the marketing. All contributed their time and volunteered. Inked by Maya Kayali. She did the graphic design for us. D Ideas Weddings, D Masaba. In It Film Services, this man right here, Alexi, one of my best mates, videographer. We have Aziz Altani, one of the 2 photographers. Aziz, I think there he is. And we have Sean, the photographer. Thank you, Sean. Love Made, by Maria Yalloridi. She's done those beautiful little magnets that you're going to see when you leave here tonight with quotes on them. Saint Raphael, seashells, thank you, Farah. And how could I forget? The Rumors. Please thank Bambos Maya for us, thanks a lot. And we have DJ Exta, Eden Michelle, who's going to be playing for us later. Thank you, Michelle. Yes, there she is. We have a female DJ. She's going to kick some beats tonight. And El Gato, thank you, El Gato, for being there for all the entertainment and the DJing you're going to do later. We also have the speakers. These are the logos here of the speakers. I won't go through them because you've met them all personally. And guys, our supporters, we got one person who came from abroad, two people here from abroad, Nawaf Baidoun, who just flew in just after my speech, and Michael Shamas, he's here tonight, Farah's brother, he's hiding somewhere on his Facebook somewhere. And so guys, this is the time. Enjoy the party. mindX 1.0, expanding minds, one extraordinary experience at a time. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Walid! Before we go, we just want to take a photo with all the speakers. If the speakers could come to the stage, take one last photo, and before we kick it off, also, Walid did mention we have an amazing DJ all the way from South Africa. Her name is Eden Michelle, otherwise known as DJ Exa. She's going to kick off the beats as soon as we finish with this photo. Guys, it's open bar, so make the best of it. It doesn't happen too often in here. Enjoy the rest of your night. Let's have a party. Thank you for being with us. mindX 1.0!